Welcome, good evening. The time is 5:16 and I would like to call this meeting to order. I will start off by honoring our tribal land acknowledgement. In partnership with the tribes who called Phoenix their home first, we acknowledge and respect the land our schools are built on. We commit to being a strong partner with any and all tribal nations who entrust their children to our schools. We are grateful and honored to be partners. May I get a roll call?
Roll call for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Here.
for Ms. Erica Ovalle, for Ms. Erica De La Rosa,
Here.
for Dr. Alicia Vink, for Ms. Carmen Trujillo.
Present.
And with that, we have a quorum to begin our meeting. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Moving on to the adoption of the agenda, do we have a recommendation from administration?
Madam President, we recommend you adopt the agenda as it's presented.
Thank you. I motion that we adopt the agenda as presented.
This is Carmen Trujillo. I second the motion.
Roll call for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Ms. Erica De La Rosa,
Aye.
Ms. Carmen Trujillo.
Aye.
With that, our agenda has been adopted and we're moving on to current events summary. We'll start off with our superintendent's report.
Good evening, governing board members, our community, cabinet members, and staff. This past couple of weeks, cabinet members and I have had the great opportunity to meet with several of our families and hear their concerns and their dreams for their children as we consider the proposal to close schools. This is a very difficult decision either way, and hearing from our families, our students, and our staff is critical to helping us make either decision work in the best ways possible for everyone. Thank you for your time and your commitment to our district. We appreciate hearing from you. I also had an opportunity to participate on a panel with a number of distinguished panelists to discuss the topic Connecting Mental Health Education and Housing for Academic Achievement. One of the topics that naturally came up was the impact of social media on teens' mental health. I was very proud to be able to share the work that our Superintendent Student Leadership Advisory Council, or SLAC, is doing currently to help us find solutions to this concern. That's why I'm pleased to be able to introduce one of our SLAC members this evening, Ms. Samantha Huzzah, who will provide comments this evening. Samantha is an 8th grader at Whittier, and many of you may recognize her as one of the students in our video from last meeting. She was one of the students showing the impact of the transition from Emerson to Whittier. Samantha's been a SLAC representative for 2 years, and we hope she will continue to stay involved with us even when she goes on to high school. With that, I'd like to turn over comments to Samantha.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez, and hello, everyone, and thank you all for having me here today. Currently in SLAC, we are all working on a project to address digital citizenship, and I have chosen digital media and your brain. This is because I believe it is important for middle school students to not get hooked so much on what other people say on social media and to reflect on how digital media is designed to either help or hinder the addition of meaning and value to their lives. In SLAC, we are each choosing an area for digital citizenship and developing presentations to share to our middle school students. I really enjoy being a part of the Superintendent Student Leadership Advisory Council, not only because of how fun being in this is, socializing with other students, gathering information about our school and the students as best as we can to help our district, but also because of the amazing people I got to come across because of being a part of SLAC. I'm really glad transferring from Emerson to Whittier did not change my goals and aspirations for my future, thanks to the teachers and staff around me, helping me stay on track and making sure the switch from our schools went smoothly.
Thank you, Samantha. We appreciate your leadership and know that the work SLAC is doing with the Digital Citizen Project will help many of our students. We also want to take a moment to acknowledge the work of our social workers and school counselors because this is School Counselor Month. And our social workers, in the words of Samantha, are amazing. And she's absolutely right. Their impact is changing lives every single day. Thank you to everyone for their work, and thank you, Samantha, for joining us. Madam President, that concludes our comments.
Great. Thank you so much. You did wonderful, Samantha. Thank you for being here. Moving on to, do we have any board member reports? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to also thank our school counselors for all the work that they do, and I just want everyone to know how much we value their work and the leadership that they offer our students. So thank you for sharing that it's National School Counselors Month. And thank you, Miss Samantha, for being here and sharing information with us. And just, I'm proud to have you up here with us. And then just want to let you know how important your perspective is to me, being a student in our district, as well as having to make the transition and still lead. And I just appreciate you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just wanted to share gratitude for all staff that has been participating in our public hearings. Just a reminder, we have another one scheduled for this Saturday at Capitol School located at 16th Avenue in Van Buren from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So just extending and reminding that invite. And then just to get ahead of it, Saturday is also the beginning of our National School Bus Driver Appreciation Day. So we greatly appreciate all our transportation staff, how they really prioritize getting our students to and from school safely. So just as a reminder to everybody, please drive safely and respect buses. Please do not drive around them. When it says stop, it means to stop. You wouldn't imagine all the type of accidents that are caused because of reckless driving. There are small people on those buses, so please just remain safe out there on these streets. And I will move on to our student outcome focused governance. So we're moving on to C1, which is our student outcome focused governance update. If you are not familiar, this is my time to ground us in the work that we've been doing since 2022, when we adopted this governance model. This is a governance model that the board adopted and that we get to really showcase at this part of the agenda. Moving on to next. Student outcomes don't change until adult behaviors change. Or said differently, when placed in the context of governing, patterns of behavior that are exhibited in the boardroom can reasonably be expected to be found paralleled in the classroom. The intention of the student outcomes focused governance framework is to translate existing research and the collective experience of dozens of board members and superintendents into a set of tools that boards can use to identify what's working and what's not working, as well as to track progress along their journey towards improving student outcomes. Next. The framework is built around 6 research-informed competencies that describe school board behaviors and to the degree to which they create the conditions for improvements in student outcomes. Number 1 is our vision and goals. The responsibility of the board is to carry out the vision of the community. School systems exist for one reason: to improve student outcomes. Number 2, our values and guardrails. In governing, board members represent the vision and values of the community, and they rely on the superintendent to determine how to accomplish the vision while honoring the values. Number 3, we have monitoring and accountability. Boards may adopt goals, but the effective use of time monitoring the goals are a skill the board needs to develop in order to hold the educational system accountable. Number 4 is communication and collaboration. The board will lead with transparency and include stakeholders in the pursuit of the goals. Number 5, unity and trust. The board will lead with one voice in its pursuit of the goals. And last, our continuous improvement. The board must be dedicated to the cycle of continuous improvement by paying attention to what's working and what's not working. Next. As you can see, we've adopted 5 goals. Our first 2 goals are all the goals are specific, measurable, attainable, results-focused, and time-bound. Interim goals are the progress measures for each board goal. As you can see by our board goals that are shown on the screen and posted around our boardroom, you can see how we have prioritized goal 1 and 2 around early childhood mathematics and literacy. Our goal number 3 is focused on our English learners. Goal number 4 and 5 is focused on our middle school literacy and mathematics. Next. Guardrails. Giving the superintendent freedom to do their job, guardrails offer the right balance of guidance and freedom to support the work while always maintaining student outcomes in focus. What the guardrails do is while we have set our goals to be of our student achievement, we know that the district also relies on other systems and things that the superintendent must focus on. And so we've prioritized these 5 goals around communication, budget issues, hiring, and then student enrollment. These are all very important guardrails that we've prioritized to make sure that this school district operates as needed. Next. Not only does the superintendent have guardrails, but the board also has dedicated themselves to making sure that we are also staying in our lane and having these guardrails to direct us when needed. Today we'll be hearing more about guardrail number 1, but you can see from 2 to 5 how we learn to really just play our role as board members and not get in the way of the superintendent work. We've gone through training to understand what is superintendent work and what is board work. Next. And this evening, admin will be presenting the progress monitoring report on interim goal number 3 and superintendent goal guardrail number 1. You will also be hearing from board self-guardrail number 1. And I'll pass it over to Dr. Gonzalez for discussion on board interim goals 3.1 and 3.2.
Thank you, Madam President. This evening, we are very proud to be able to share our interim goals on our goal 3. As a reminder, if you look at the next page, we can see our goal 3 is that the percentage of English language learners increasing at least 1 proficiency level as measured by AZELA will increase from 32% on August 2023 to 50% by August 2028. You'll also recall that this was one goal that we did hit last year, and we were very excited about it. And I am very proud to, hats off to all of our staff who've been working on this. We have hit this goal again. This is hats off to staff, to our families, and to our students for this work. So I don't want to steal all the thunder. I want to turn this over immediately to our staff who have been working on this. So I'm going to have Dr. Lloyd come up and begin our presentation talking about exactly what this next round of assessments has been and what the learning demonstrates. Dr. Lloyd? And Mrs. Gonzalez is going to join us as well.
Right, board members, cabinet, members of the community, thank you for having us again. I would just like to thank you again for the opportunity to share our progress and to discuss our outcomes and our inputs and outputs that are associated. Today, if you'll go ahead and go to the next slide, as Dr. Gonzalez shared, we were able to meet this target for this year of having our students who receive English language services improve at least 1 proficiency level in their reading. The task associated with this is just trying to move closer to that grade level reading that we want all students to be able to do to be successful in school and in life. And this was based on an administration of our ELA benchmarks that we did in December. We used a screener called AimsWeb Plus for kindergarten and 1st grade, and we used the iReady reading diagnostic for grades 2 through 8. And we looked at whether or not students improved a proficiency level or a performance level on their reading. And that's what we are reporting. And as you can see, we've got our green check mark. We exceeded our target of 27%. We hit 30%. And we also met in all of our disaggregates for all of our groups except for our African American group. And so that's a celebration. I'll turn the time over to Ms. Gonzalez to share some of the things that we found that were instrumental in helping us reach that target.
Good evening, President Bueno, board members, cabinet, and our community. I'm very excited to share out with everyone that we have met this goal. This is a collective celebration for our EL interventionists, our EL targeted teachers. And as a district, this has been a goal, and I applaud our district for having a piece of to have accountability, because this is a group that we cannot just put in the behind and be an afterthought. It has to be front and centered. We have the responsibility to ensure that we're making gains with our students. So even though it's a celebration for us as instructors, it's more of a celebration for our students, that they get to see that they're growing and they're heading in the right direction. So some of the pieces that I will say that our EL interventionists and our teachers have really worked on is really making our students aware of where they're at in their learning. So setting up goals and having those discussions. And these interims have been an added bonus, because now there's more discussion of, this is where you were in October, this is where we are in January, we're going into Azella. What do we need to do to ensure that we refine, to ensure that we do well in our assessment? So some of the pieces that I will say our EL interventionists have said have been instrumental in them is looking at that data and looking at how they are growing, but also it's not just reading and writing, looking at listening and speaking. We have interims for reading and writing. The goal is to have interims in each of those domains as we move forward. But right now, knowing that these are the two interims, seeing how are we going about it as a collective whole and also as individual schools. One piece that we did do as a department is we implemented targeted curriculum maps as a resource. So we wanted, in the past, we haven't had like an instrument that they can follow as a resource to ensure that all of the English language proficiency standards are being hit. So that was important for us to provide for our EL interventionists and our targeted teachers to have that and ensure that our students are getting that practice. So they're aligned with the ELA standards, because the ELP standards are naturally aligned, but we have them broken down by proficiency level, which allows them to be utilized by our teachers to be to provide appropriate scaffolds. So if it's a pre-emergent, what do I need to provide for them to get to a basic and intermediate? So it also has links to resources from our curriculum, so that they're not trying to look for how do I teach this particular standard. There's some resources that are part of our curriculum. And more importantly, now we have checks for understanding, verbiage similar to what they would see in Azella that addresses to the standards to ensure that there is some accountability to that measure. So those are some of the things. But above all, I want to say our EL interventionists come with so much passion to ensure that each of their students are showing growth and advocating for them. So I do applaud them, and I want to give them the credit for them, because they are the standouts on their campuses when we think that our students have someone to go to. So I'll talk more about that, but that's a little piece.
As we look at the next slide, this is our interim goal 3.2. So 3.1 is reading, and 3.2, we also hit this goal, again, right on the target. So I'm going to turn it over to talk for Dr. Lloyd to talk about how this assessment is helping to prepare. And really quickly, I do want to just emphasize that the reason we started on the focus with reading and writing on these assessments is because these were the two areas that we saw our students were traditionally falling behind on the Azella assessment. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Lloyd.
Thank you, Dr. Gonzalez. So this assessment is a new assessment for us this year. And so basically it's our pilot year. So we set a target of 25% of our students improving a proficiency level from the beginning of the year. And this was based on an Azella interim. So it's a little bit different. It's not the same as what they have to do on like an ASA assessment, where it's reading several articles and writing to a source. It's a simpler task with a shorter stimulus but allows them to show their proficiency against the English language proficiency standards, which is how they're measured on the Azella. And that's our first task, is to get them to write well enough so that they can show their proficiency and pass the Azella, that English language exam. And this was administered. You can see we have 3 different points here. We administered it in August, and then again we did it in January. And so we're seeing that we are able to hit our target in January of 25%. Our African American, Asian, and subgroups were able to hit their targets, and then as a collective, we hit that 25% target. And this is our students who receive English language services is a high percentage of our district at this point. It's over 1/5 of our students, and you also see a large percentage of them are also receiving services from exceptional education. And so those are students that we know need additional support, and that's an area that we will look at and focus on to continue to provide supports for students with multiple areas of need. And I'll turn the time over to Dr. Ailshire to talk more about some of those gains that we saw in this area.
Thank you, Dr. Lloyd. Good evening, Governing Board. Thank you again for allowing us some time to really celebrate the successes that are found in this data. As Dr. Lloyd pointed out, and as we've talked about in quite a bit in regards to goal number 3, we really see goal number 3 as being that all of our students are language learners. And so this is a goal that's really near and dear to our heart, because we believe that the work that we're doing here is beginning to really embed itself in good tier 1 instruction that all of our students can have access to, because they are all essentially English language learners in some capacity or another. As Dr. Lloyd noted, there is work to be done in our exceptional student services category that is both for us to look at, the identification of those students and really determining is the identification of them in the ESS category an appropriate thing if they're also an English language learner, and really trying to drill down on the root of what is behind some of that data, because the other subgroup, as Dr. Lloyd pointed out, 1/5 of all of our students are English language learners. Approximately that same number, a little bit higher, are also ESS, in terms of that being one of our largest subgroups that you can see on there. So making sure that we're addressing those things and implementing those, but making sure that also that us right now having the data at this point so that we can better develop the interventions that we need for all of these students will be imperative to us. And it goes back to the goal setting that Ms. Gonzalez was pointing out, and the importance of that goal setting for all of our groups of students. And with that being said, do I want to introduce? Yeah. I want to actually really hand it over. We know that the highlight for us is actually getting the boots on the ground, the individuals that are in the field, and seeing the great work that we're doing. And some of the work that I really want to highlight and celebrate comes out of Garfield, led by our very own Principal Aviles. So without further ado, wanted to highlight some of the great work he's doing, and so you can kind of see the practical implications of it. So thank you, Principal Aviles, for being here.
Thank you. Well, good evening, Dr. Gonzalez, board members, and cabinet and community. Like Dr. Ailshire mentioned, I'm Mr. Aviles, the proud Grizzly principal at Garfield Elementary. And before I get started, I just got notified that our boys basketball team just made it to the final, so I just want to shout them out right now. So go Grizzlies. But what I'm really here to discuss is our English 3D curriculum. And I know one of the questions is what is actually happening in our schools that we're seeing this growth, right? We hear about everything that's going on with the SIPE walkthroughs, the presentations, and the really focus on the last year's data. But what I really want to highlight from what we're doing at Garfield is that curriculum. A little background is we are really focused also on our middle school literacy and also our writing. We noticed that last year data is just like Dr. Gonzalez mentioned, we did not see that. So instead of just talking for our EL students, I mentioned that to all of our teachers because all of our students are language learners. So this annotating, reading through the text is not just applicable for our English learners, it is all across grade levels, but more particular for our 4th through 8th graders as well. So I knew that was going to be our focus, and I knew, especially as you guys know, and what I've mentioned before, that's my real passion is for our English language learners, especially our middle school. So this is something great to see that's happening at Garfield, where we're noticing that that's a critical time for our students to gain those skills prior to exiting and prior to promoting to high school. So that's our duty as our school. I also like to shout out our ELL interventionist, Ms. Navarrete, and our IA, Ms. Marin, because they're the ones that have been implementing this curriculum with fidelity, and we're starting to notice that shift. So if we go to the next slide, I wanted to showcase the first interim writing assessment of one of the students. We're not going to read the whole thing, but if you just notice right now, the first thing that you see is this is a runoff sentence from a middle school student. We don't see much details. We don't much see what is the main idea here. And we see a lot of repetitive words just by looking at that. So that's in August, and thanks to the third interim assessment, if we go on to the next slide, you're going to see the same student now applying the skills that they learned throughout the curriculum. We're noticing different sentence frames. We're noticing actual punctuation used correctly, and we're starting to see the transition words, which as an ELA teacher, that was huge, right? We say in addition to sports, right? We're not just being repetitive anymore. So that goes to show of how that curriculum really is being applied, not just inside the classroom, but when we're doing these interim assessments as well. And then lastly, we also want to just shout, the next slide, please, is just bullet points of what this curriculum looks different than others. It's engaging, it's current events for students. You notice they talked about ancient Olympics. We just had the Olympics prior this summer, so kids had that background knowledge. It's engaging in all different sectors, not just reading and writing, but other things of just speaking and listening, which I know we're going to get into those domains later. And it's also rigorous. It's not just a thing of like, just write a complete sentence. You're writing complete paragraphs, just like what middle schools and getting them prepared for high school as well. And this also sets instructional routines for our teachers, especially our ELL interventionists. Really talked about how the routines are made for those middle school years, and it's not just for our elementary teachers or elementary students. And, at the end of the day, I'm really proud of my teachers and proud of my team for making this happen. And I'm glad that we're seeing that, not just at Garfield, but we're seeing it across all of our schools as well. Thank you.
And thank you, Jonathan, for responding to one of the questions that had been presented by President Bueno about what's different at the schools that are making these gains. The next question that we have on the next slide actually comes from Vice President Trujillo. She's wondering what we've noticed about the staff and students since they're having met the target during the transition of this interim goal. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mrs. Gonzalez and Dr. Lloyd.
We got our results back in August and we presented. It was a real high for our EL interventionists, our teachers. Oh, wow, we made it, because when we saw the interim back in spring, we knew we were close and we were like, we're going to make it, even though it was showing we were not going to meet. So that a presentation in August showing that we've met it, and coupled with having our celebration of our reclassified students, really motivated all of our staff and especially our EL interventionists to continue. Like, that's the goal, we're going to meet that goal. So as we look at December, when we went over the interim data for 3.1 and 3.2, this is where we're at. What work do we need to do? And one thing about that, I'm glad we've had opportunities with our EL interventionists is have DCTMs. We've had a couple in the fall that really opens that collaboration, because it's only one EL interventionist on campus. They get to come together, collaborate, connect with each other, and share ideas of how they're dealing with a certain subgroup that's struggling with foundations. What are they implementing? We also got to take the group out to get verb tense training with OELAs as a group. So that was even more gaining. As professionals, you want to develop your craft and having that opportunity. So all of that right into going into January's interim. And last Friday, I got to send them the email that, hey, we met our goal. It was really exciting for them as instructors. But again, it always comes down to we get to celebrate with the students and we could get to share that. And now we're waiting for May when we see our Azella scores, and we will be meeting our goal. That's our intention. You want to add it?
Madam President, that concludes our presentation on Goal 3.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. I know how much work goes into, meeting goals, and it's just so inspiring to hear how motivated everybody is when you have clarified priorities and clarified goals. I know in the past it's been kind of scattered everywhere, having you kind of run around with, as a chicken with your head cut off, but just sharing and stressing the importance of why it's been important for us to actually have board goals and being able to monitor throughout the year instead of, I'll speak for myself. Every year after getting the Zella testing, or the standardized testing results is like, oh, oops, we'll try again next year. But now we know, where those gaps are in us as an institute, where we need to adapt and not, put the blame on the student of why they weren't capable, but just reflect on like what we need to do as an institute to make sure that, we're accommodating all the different styles and the needs of our students. So congratulations to your team, Dr. Alshire, Dr. Lloyd, Ms. Gonzalez, everybody that is here today. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are really proud. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm trying not to cry. I know you're you're gonna cry. Oh my God. But I just want to, is there any other questions that we have for interim goal number 3?
Madam Chair, I don't have any questions about the data. I've got my acronyms underway these days, but I just was hoping to maybe hear a little bit about any discussions with the students about hitting their goals, just what that might look like for like any of the staff, I guess, responses.
So I actually reached out to an interventionist because she does such a good job of giving them that pep talk, like, here's where you're at. So the scale is 0 to 5 in our upper grades. A big focus has been our upper grades because the text does get harder for them. So how are they using their strategies? So having a conversation of like, you move from a 3 to a 4. What do you need to move to a 5? And those little conversations really go the distance because one, they get a sense that somebody cares about what I'm doing. And you're actually reading and giving me feedback. And I'm going to commit to you because you're committing to me that I'll do better. And so those are the kind of conversations. And we get a lot of Sarah Irizarry, who's not here, and she's my thought partner in all of this. We are excited to go out to schools because we see those systems being developed and they're working for our kiddos. So, yeah.
Thank you. So
I don't have a question. I just have a comment, just listening to everything. It's very exciting, very, very exciting moment for everybody. But more than anything, we're not just helping them, but we're building life skills for them, right? I just heard you talk about accountability. Like these children are already being accountable for what they want, for what they desire, for what they want to see. So that's going to move with them for the rest of their lives, not just today, not just next year, but really when they get to high school, when they get to college, when they start adulthood. So I'm really excited to hear that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited that we've been able to again meet our goal, our interim goal. We'll see, I think it's up in the calendar again for maybe August. We'll monitor again this goal. It seems like we're on the right track, so best of luck for the Azalea testing. And again, to the whole system, thank you, because to me, it just speaks volumes that if we're able to help our most vulnerable students achieve their goal, it means that we're on the right track to hit all our goals 1 through 5. So thank you just to this entire system for taking this very seriously. And with that, I'll move on to C3 and motion that we adopt the student outcome focused governance progress monitoring report of board interim goal number 3.
And Madam President, before we do the roll call vote, Ms. Ovalle has been able to join. She's now on the Zoom.
Thank you. Move on to roll call, please, or a second. I need a second.
Yes, this is Carmen Trujillo. I second the motion.
Vote count for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Ms. Erica De La Rosa,
Aye.
Ms. Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
You're on mute, Ms. Ovalle.
I'm so sorry. I didn't hear the question. I was changing a diaper.
We're voting on approving the student outcome focused governance progress monitoring report of board interim goal number 3.
I'm going to say yes.
Thank
Yay.
you. And with that, we have adopted our progress monitoring report for interim goal number 3, and we're moving on to discussion on superintendent guardrail number 1.
So as we look at superintendent guardrail number 1 and interim guardrail monitoring, guardrail number 1 says that the superintendent shall not allow the district to operate without reciprocal and effective communication between board, district employees, and community stakeholders. So as we look at this goal, going back to the theory of action, we have inputs around policy, procedure, and practices, as well as targeted, clear communication plans as inputs. That creates more consistent practices across the district, as well as developing more contacts that are diverse and strategic audiences, so that at the end of the day, we have the outcome of improving our customer satisfaction with Phoenix number 1's policy implementation and increasing knowledge of this student outcomes focused governing board work. So as we look at the next phase, this is interim guardrail number 1, and we set a goal, or a guardrail goal, that by May 2026, the district will establish structured and open opportunities to hear from different constituents across the district, expanding regular streams of communications from one business partner luncheon and monthly meetings with employee associations and Superintendent Student Leadership Advisory Council and ARCH in 2023-2024 to include new affinity groups with students, families, community businesses, and employees as measured by monthly meeting reports and expanded audiences receiving our district communications. So when you look, these were the targets that we had set. These are 2-year goals. So in 23-24, we had 2 employee groups. We've now moved to 3 employee groups as a goal for 24-25. With students, we have our 2 leadership groups. We want to maintain these for 24-25. And then from 23-24, we have 1 family center and school cafecitos, and we want to maintain those. But then in the next is 1 business partner luncheon, moving to 3 business partner luncheons. So when you look at the actions that we've taken, we've met with employee associations monthly. We are adding a leader diversity group this month. We're meeting with the Superintendent Student Leadership Advisory Council monthly, and we've added the addition of having our students represented at the dais. We also met with ARCH twice. Family cafecitos, we've attended 6 this year and have 4 more scheduled. And actually, since that was written, the numbers have increased. Family resource fairs, we had 2 different celebrations this year with family resources. And then working with our meeting PTO leaders, we've met with Faith North and Shaw and Capital. And then business partner luncheons. So far, we've had 2 already, and we have 2 more scheduled. We've also begun meeting regularly with the City of Phoenix Economic Development Office monthly, and that's really helping us to bring our Reimagine work to fruition. Interim guardrail goal 1.2 is seeking to increase diverse, accessible communications targeted to specific audiences as measured by governing board meeting updates. And we saw the amazing work that was represented in the ASPRA award. We also are working with Phoenix number 1 community from within to make sure that they get a update from our governing board meetings within 1 week of each meeting. We went from 4 communications to 24 planned for this year and expanded the regular communications to district communities shared through print and digital media, as well as school-specific information through school channels, direct to families as measured by an impact analysis of communications and marketing metrics. And actually, when we look at our targets, you can see on the next slide that we had targets for employee mailers, community, social media, website, newsletter mailers, and we've continued to add those. Another pain point in this process was the use of our school marquees in helping to create information. And Ms. Baker and her team have been working diligently to develop a training program and to get the software updated so that everyone will have access to those marquees. But what I'm really excited to do is turn it over to Ms. Baker, who's going to share the impacts. This is through social media software that we've purchased to be able to show what our impacts on these different targets have been. Ms. Baker?
Good evening, Governing Board, members of cabinets in our community. So looking at our impacts, I'm super proud of some of the numbers that we're able to share tonight. So number one, just looking at this past semester, we took a deep dive kind of through some of our numbers. And so we were able to create 11 of those Governing Board recaps, and they're able to go English and Spanish, and they live on our website. And so oftentimes we see someone go to look at one, and then they go back and look through the past few so they can get caught up on what's going on. We've also done over 43,000 mailers that have gone to addresses within our district boundaries. And then for the last couple of holidays, so for our holiday card and Valentine's Day, we were able to send out some artwork with our student artwork and a special message on it to our staff, to our partners, and to elected officials. Also, two really big things for us is all of our schools now have active Instagram and Facebook pages, which is a new thing for us to have, one of each for each school. And then also we were able to recontrol our LinkedIn account, which we did not have access to for a while. And so we were able to get that back. And so now we have actual admin access and we can keep that updated. And that's actually one of our fastest growing engagement is on that LinkedIn account since we've started getting re-engaging with it and keeping it active. So looking at our numbers from July 1 to December 31st, we've seen a 26% increase in our social media impressions, just going up against what we did the semester before. And then looking at our social media engagements, that's up 151.2%. Again, which is a big deal. These are people who are not just looking at what we're doing, but they're actually engaging with it. They're commenting, they're sending us messages, they're sharing it with friends. And then looking at our link clicks, that's up 915%. And then messages that we're receiving is up 95.6%. And I love this one because this means that people are expecting a response from us, right? They're seeing something and they send a response. Do I have to wear uniforms? Or are we going to school tomorrow? And so those might seem really small, but that means that you see us on social media and you know that you can send us a message and we'll respond. So I'm really happy to see that number up 95.6%. And then our video views are up 57.9%. So switching gears, looking at our website, we had 121,000 hits from July to December. And so our top hits are coming from people looking at the calendar, people clicking through the employee links that are specific to our internal staff, and then clicks to the homepage of Kenilworth and Shaw, and then people looking at the salary schedule. And then looking at our numbers on Class Dojo, we've got almost 2,400 active parents on Class Dojo and 386 staff between 12 schools. And so just looking at our numbers from January, 207 posts, 65 events created, which I really like that one because that means that parents are getting the pings when there's an event coming up, so they get those extra reminders. And then our teachers sent 7,700 messages, and then 75% of those messages are read on the same day, which I think is a really big deal that we're able to send something and we know that 75% of those parents are going to be able to, will read it on that same day. And then last but not least, we had over 92,000 emails and texts that were sent specifically from the district office to families. So that doesn't include messages that were sent directly from the school site. This is just the district level emails and text that have gone out. And, I think some ways that we've been able to see it when we had the resource fair at the Family Center, and you ask people, how did you hear about this? How did you hear about this? Being able to see the range of where people got the information from. So you see some people come up with their phone and they're like, oh, you texted me last night. But then some people saw it on Facebook and saw that they would get a free bike if they came to the resource fair. And so it's been really great to watch our communications grow and watch the different ways that people receive our content.
And if I may, I just want to point out, we struggled to set a firm goal with this because prior to this, we didn't even have numbers to be able to show how much we had done or how little we had done. So Ms. Baker and her team have literally started, they created a baseline at the beginning of the year, and this is improving from the beginning of this year to this time. So it's really outstanding work, and we're very, very proud of the outreach of our district and know that it's going to continue to grow and improve. Our next slide shows, again, that celebration of the ASPRA Award for our governing board recaps. And those are we have more people stopping me to compliment us on those governing board recaps. And they really are an outstanding summary of the work of the governing board meeting. It highlights our progress monitoring work and the student celebrations and staff celebrations as well. And I really think that these are great messages about the focus of the district and the work that we're doing, and that in spite of everything else, we're never losing sight of what our goals and the work that we're trying to do as part of our strategic plan. So that concludes our presentation. Are there any questions about this?
Madam Chair, I do have a question. Well, I'll do my question after my comment. I think for me personally, I guess the birth of this guardrail has been a constant thing that sits and bothers me at night. And I really, just reading all of this information, I really feel like we are grasping, just getting so much closer to where we want to be with being able to engage with our community and be front and center with them. And I just want to say thank you. And I think we're on the right path, and I'm super excited. And my question is just wondering if there are any other social media outlets that we aren't using that we are like looking into. I know we've got budget concerns and things like that. So I just wonder what that looks like right now, considering our budget implications.
I'm going to turn this over to the media expert because that will not be me. Ms. Baker, do you?
There have been conversations about it. So one question I get asked probably 2 times a week is, when can we get on TikTok? And the answer is, we will see. Just because it's so different from how we manage other sites, it's something that we would have to really figure out how we would keep active, if that's something that we would do. We've also had some conversation with Nextdoor, since that's a popular one. However, Nextdoor is very expensive. And so it's been a thought. I'm definitely not opposed to some other types of social medias as they come out and become more accessible. I would love to be on Nextdoor if the price was a little bit lower, just because we know that's a easy, quick way to connect with community. But we'll continue to research and keep an eye on what the trends are. And if TikTok becomes an option that makes sense for us, that's something we can absolutely look into.
Thank you. I want to just express my gratitude around your videos. I think having videos kind of like we're able to like express more and kind of communicate a little bit better. So I appreciate the videos that you've done with Dr. Gonzalez on, sharing important messaging. I think that's something new that we haven't done too much in the past. It was just kind of like for extreme circumstances, but just like really making that a habit of how we communicate with our community has been very impactful. So I want to say thank you to that. But I did have a question around the messages on social media. Do you mean direct messages, or does this also include like comments on posts?
It's a combination of direct messages and comments.
Okay, thank you. That's what I figured, but I just wanted to clarify. Do we have any other questions?
I have a quick one. Does Nextdoor app not give academic discounts or pricing?
If they do, I'm definitely going to look into it. The first
You
quote I
should.
got, I don't even remember what it was, but it was so high that I like closed it immediately.
Really?
But I'm still in contact with them, so I'll definitely ask if there's an educational
Yeah,
discount.
definitely do. I can't be sure, but I can't see them not wanting to give an academic discount. So I would be eager to find that out.
Thank you. Did you ever utilize Peach Jar? Is that something that you used when you started?
No, I've never used Peach Jar.
Okay, yeah, that's something that we had tried to establish a couple years back, and I'm just wondering if that's something that kind of just dropped off. And it sounds like it, but okay. Are there any other questions that we have around the superintendent guardrail number 1? Quick question about the marquees. Are we also expecting to have the marquees be in Spanish, the language be in Spanish as well?
That's something we're doing some more looking into. One of the concerns that came up was, is it a distraction to have multiple languages on the marquees at once? So I'm doing some digging and talking to our other districts to see kind of who's doing what and what they found to be most successful.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I do have another, I've planned to email Dr. Gonzalez, but I just wonder what our timeline is for when this transition might happen. Is that recent? Is that next year? What does that look like?
Our goal is for this year. We've been a little preoccupied lately, but we are definitely still working on getting that before the end of the school year. We'd love to be able to announce all of our promotion events on our marquees.
Great. Hearing no further questions or discussion, I would like to move us to C5, which is, I would like to motion the approval of Student Outcomes Focused Governance Guardrail Progress Monitoring Report of Superintendent Guardrail number 1.
This is Carmen Trujillo. I'll second the motion.
Vote count for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Ms. Erica De La Rosa,
Aye.
Ms. Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle.
Aye.
Thank you. With that, we have adopted our progress monitoring report for superintendent interim guardrail number 1. And we're going to move on to discussion of board self guardrail number 1. Thank you. Our board guardrail number 1 is, in attaining the board student outcome goals, the board shall not direct or appear to direct staff on a day-to-day operations. This part is meant for us individually to be able to lead by example and come forth if there's been some instances where we're toting the line of like, oh my God, I almost told my son's teacher to do X, Y, and Z. But I'll speak for myself, and I would say that I've been adhering to the guardrail number 1, where I do not direct or appear to direct staff on a day-to-day operations. I know I'm around pretty frequently, so I talk to staff a lot, but it's just mainly friendly conversation. It's nothing around, hey, what are you doing on your job? What does your email say? So with that, I just want to open it up to any other board, my colleagues, to see if they'd like to share anything around this guardrail number 1.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll go really quick. This is Carmen Trujillo. This guardrail is super important to me because having been here at a time when we didn't have things like this that really taught us clear roles that the board members hold, and then how staff have to operate in their spaces as well. It's been just really educational and helpful as far as leadership is concerned. So it does, I always have to catch myself when I'm just saw my questions start whirling. So I do, I stay really mindful of it, and it's brought about a really good part of my week. Dr. G and I will check in once a week and just really be able to get caught up with things, and I'm able to ask questions and in that kind of formal/informal space, which is really helpful to me because I do struggle with wanting to ask a million questions at the board meetings and stuff. So it's really, this guardrails really kind of led to that. And I'm really grateful for the space and the consistency and the communication that I receive overall. So I too feel like I'm able to adhere to this without stepping over the line. So, but I'm also open to feedback. So if there are any spaces that I am overstepping my bounds, I'm all ears and open to the communication, which is how I feel like our staff is as well. So thank you all very much.
Thank you for sharing, Vice President Trujillo. Anybody else?
I couldn't agree more with both of the things that you guys said, and we're definitely open to feedback, even if we're understepping. Like if you need more of us, then we're here to listen to that as well.
Thank you. Hearing no other discussion, we're gonna move on to our community communications. We're moving on to D1, which is community communications. This is a time for the public to comment. Member of the boards may not discuss items that are not specifically on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to ARS 38-431.01G, actions taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to criticism, or rescheduling the matter for further consideration and discussion at a later time. Today's public comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and we will begin with the electronic comments. Do
Our
we have
first
any?
comment is from Paul Booth. It says, I am the treasurer of Westwood Religion Estates Historic Neighborhood Association residing in the current herd boundary. We have been asking repeatedly for a full breakdown of enrollment numbers and cost saving for each of the 14 schools under consideration for closure. Most importantly, we've been asking one very simple question. How much money does closing herd alone actually save this district? And yet, shockingly, or maybe not so shockingly, we have received no answer. The board is supposed to act as the guardrails, ensuring responsible decision-making. Instead, you are barreling full speed ahead, shutting down herd with zero due diligence and zero prior communication. And the cherry on top, you're sending out a community survey from March 7th to April 18th to ask families about their school preferences and desired changes. Just 3 days after you've already made the decision to close our school, lovely, move us first and ask us how we feel about it later. But don't worry, you generously reminded us that we can just go to Magnet Traditional, except a magnet school is not a neighborhood school. It's not open to everyone in our community, and it doesn't replace what we are losing. So here's the deal. Our neighborhood is organized, tight-knit, and ready to act. We prepared to petition to redistrict part of Herd's boundaries into Osborne School District, where children aren't shuffled around like cattle, and where neighborhood schools aren't seen as assets for lease to the highest bidder to fund the district's ever-changing vision. And if this board votes to close Herd, a school built for our neighborhood in 1952, a school with deep roots and generations of alumni, we will explore every possible legal option to make our community whole. We are also prepared to petition for a recall election if this board refuses to follow its own governance standards. Maybe you think we won't, but we already have our over 600 signatures in our petition to save Herd. So go ahead, factor that into your revenue projections. As you vote on this proposal, understand what you're really deciding. You're reimagining Phoenix Elementary District Number 1 with fewer neighborhood schools, rumors of child care centers with the bus hubs, and silent teachers who, for reasons only they in the district know, are not speaking up with their students needed the most. If Plan A moves forward, what will those teachers say to their students on March 5th? How will they look them in the eyes? Don't just talk about it, be heard. And finally, if the school with the 4th highest enrollment in the district isn't generating enough revenue to support your spending plans, I have to ask, which schools are safe from future closures? I'll wait. Thank you. Paul Booth. Our next comment is from Beverly Wolhert. Good afternoon. I am unable to attend the upcoming school board meeting, but I'm hopeful my concerns will be shared. Thank you for passing this along. Dear Phoenix School Board members, I am writing this letter with grave concern regarding the proposed program cuts due to budgetary and enrollment constraints. First of all, I want to thank you for the time and consideration spent on the proposed plan. I run a small nonprofit agency, and we are undergoing considerable budgetary issues, which are causing me to experience similar pains. Closing programs that make a difference in the lives of families in our community and laying off staff is an extremely difficult thing to do. I genuinely empathize with your stress. However, from a parent standpoint, I have major concerns with your Plan B proposal. Plan A appears extremely reasonable with a limited amount of impact after an initial move. Plan B appears very detrimental to our district. Plan A, although difficult for children and staff being relocated, is simply that, a relocation that creates further resources and opportunities by combining the schools. This plan appears to cause the least disruption long-term and ensures the sustainability of the district. The children will adjust and most will be grateful, just as the Emerson Whittier immersion. Plan B is very risky and is not a plan where we plug holes in a dam. It's a plan where we remove a Jenga block from the game and an entire side or even two crumbles to the ground. Here's why. Number one, early intervention matters. I'm a foster and adoptive parent. I have 4 boys. 3 have been through your district and 2 have attended Faith North. The 2 boys that have attended Faith North are thriving. All 3 boys have trauma, ADHD, and developmental delays. The one who moved in with me at 8 years old did not receive early intervention and continues to struggle academically and behavioral. He now needs a level D private school in order to complete high school. He has to be removed from the district for specialized support. With early intervention, his entire trajectory could have changed. He could have been more prepared to participate in general education, developmental issues could have been tackled head-on earlier, and interventions may have been more successful. I would be happy to cite the volumes of literature surrounding the importance of early intervention, but I am sure you do not need me to do so. My 2 boys that have been at Faith North still receive support, but are doing well in general ed classes. This would not have been the case without Faith North. Prior to Faith North, we have been asked to leave at least 4 different daycare centers. Faith North matters. It has changed our life. The staff at Faith North and Whittier Preschool have climbed mountains to ensure the successes of these children and are doing a fantastic job. Number 2, as noted above, Faith North is incredible. This also includes our relationship with preschool at Whittier. The district preschool staff is outstanding, from principal to teacher's aide, including speech, social workers, office assistants, educated, trauma-informed, caring teachers who are all connected with the district preschool programs. If you lose these staffs and dismantle these programs, they cannot be recreated overnight. The district has a world-class program, and if the trigger is pulled to end, it will take years, if ever, to rebuild. You will lose the people that make it so amazing. In Plan A, you can always continue to relocate children. Our next comment is from Anna Lauder. Board President Bueno, members of the governing board, Superintendent Gonzalez. While we continue to be given tiny scraps of data and information by the district, I continue to be baffled and perplexed as to how these 2 options, A and B, are the only offerings we have to discuss. Both of these choices frankly stink and symbolize the complete failure of the district to be transparent, proactive, and responsible in their management of our students, teachers, staff, and buildings. I'm going to continue to ask more unanswered questions. Who is planning to rent these buildings in need of repair? If that is one of the reasons these schools are singled out for closure, who has the money to compensate our district at market rent plus the cost of improving these buildings? If it isn't a school, and I would like that reiterated on the record because I do not trust that to be the truth. Who will it be, and how do we know they will pay rent and stay open? How long is this lease? Why can't our district leadership consider other ideas of more humanely adjusting to account for enrollment? Where is our finance team, and why aren't they speaking at these meetings? Where is the plan to increase enrollment? Where is the admission that closing schools will drastically impact enrollment? What about grouping ages, multi-grade classrooms like Montessori, so you have more teacher cohorts, and then leasing partial portions of buildings to community services like you had proposed? Why not make Magnet a Montessori if there are 400 waitlisted at Shaw? If Shaw is so popular, why not expand Montessori to more schools? School closure and consolidation is the least creative plan I have ever heard of. But if we can think of nothing else and the schools must be consolidated, you must consider combining Magnet and Hurd as busing to Capital is completely nonsensical. You will lose all those students and families forever, and our district's reputation will be irreparable. It seems ridiculous to me that this is in the level of crisis where you are actively recruiting staff to validate these insane and undemocratic plans. that you would still refuse to consider selling buildings like the ASU Prep building on the potential chance our district grows. If you think that is a possibility, then why are we closing schools? Anna Lauder. Our next comment is from Allison Golick. My name is Allison Golick. I'm a mother of a Faith North student, a resident within the Herd boundaries, and president of the Westwood Village and Estates Historic Neighborhood Association. From the start of this process, there has been way too much uncertainty and also lack of transparency, with only now us asking questions. You started to become more transparent. We were told that Herd students would transition smoothly because their teachers would move with them. Now we're hearing that teachers will be placed through a job fair with no guarantees. So which is it? Are teachers staying with their students, or are they left to fight for a spot elsewhere? Parents at Shaw are worried about losing preschool and before and after care, despite the district's FAQ stating these services. Funding by desegregation dollars will remain untouched. So why is their PTA posting sign-up sheets to speak at the meetings while other schools are silenced? Why is our community being pitted against each other in this process? The district claims this closure is about the budget, but your own documents state that Herd's campus will generate revenue through lease agreements and program development. This isn't about the best interests of children, it's about financial gain. Be honest about your motives. We don't want the total budget for the district. We want the breakdown by school. It's implausible that Herd is hemorrhaging money. Herd has been a cornerstone of our community since 1952, not 1970. Insulting, you can't even get our history right. Closing it and forcing your children into buses strips us of our neighborhood school and erodes this very community we chose to live in. If this closure happens, we will petition to redistrict into a district that prioritizes our children. Neighbors are ready to go door to door and mobilize against the decision. Property values will decline, families will leave, and the district will lose more than it gains. Teachers, your silence is deafening. You are the heart of this community. Stand up for your students and be heard. Remember what Flick said in A Bug's Life. When the ants stand together, the grasshoppers have no power. You are not alone. We support you. Board members, you were elected to serve families, not corporations or outside interests. If you truly care about these children, show up, listen, and do what's right. We demand a neighborhood school, one that was built for us and should remain for us. This community will not be erased. We will fight for our children, we will fight for our school, and we will not back down. Allison Golick. Our next comment is from Caitlin Tuffin Gasper. Dear members of PESD Board, thank you for your service to the district and the community. I am a parent to 2 children who attend Shaw Montessori. I am voicing my support for your decision to ensure that the district's property at 735 East Fillmore is utilized to support the needs of the school district. From what has been shared in the Arizona Republic, I understand that ASU Preparatory Academy Phoenix has benefited from below market rent for many years. While I recognize that pressure may come from ASU Prep and their families, your role as fiduciary requires you to prioritize the long-term benefit of the students, families, and staff of the District Number 1. By recognizing the undervalued payment offered and the potential negative impact on the community, you have made a choice that aligns with the best interests of those you serve. I fully support the board's decision to seek a rental arrangement that reflects the property's full value. Thank you. Caitlin Gasper. Our next comment is from Leigh Ann Dolan. Dear Superintendent and Governing Board members, as parents of 2 PESD number 1 students, thank you for making the right decision not to renew the lease at 7th and Fillmore for ASU Preparatory at the current extremely below market rate. PESD number 1 children deserve better than sweetheart deals with multi-million-dollar corporations, while other PESD number 1 school campuses literally crumble and crack from lack of funding. ASU Prep can stay where it is as long as they pay their fair share. They have the money. It just needs to come from their pocket and not from the pockets of our school children. Thank you. Leanne and Bob Dolan. Our next comment is from Christina Flores. As an educator and parent, it is important for me and my family to have support for leadership and fair funding for Phoenix School District and students who deserve our best efforts to help them shape a bright, successful future. Our district is in a financial crisis, and we must protect resources for the students who rely on us. Every dollar matters. We cannot afford to subsidize a charter school at the expense of our public school kids. Phoenix students deserve fair funding and responsible leadership who support Phoenix School District. Sincerely, Christina. Our next comment is from Erica Galvin, to whom it may concern. This email is in regards to the school lease for ASU Phoenix Prep. Not only does this affect administration or all of the staff that works there, however, this affects the students more than everyone else, including the parents. Have you actually weighed all the possible solutions? Have you actually thought for a second of how everyone feels? Honestly speaking, have you actually sat down and realized that everyone is going to be without a school to go to? That students have made new friendships, get used to going to school, and are excited to see their teachers as well. Those students have transferred because of many other reasons. I would love for the Phoenix Elementary School District and whomever it may concern to sit down and be thorough in the upcoming decision-making process. To ensure that ASU Prep Phoenix has an opportunity and continue to lease the school grounds for years to come, or better yet, become the next owner. Thank you, Erica Galvin. Our next comment is from Roosevelt Best. Dear members of the board, I don't want to lose my school. I'm a student at ASU Preparatory Academy Phoenix in the 9th grade. The decision to take the building from us would directly hurt me, my friends, and my teachers. I have been attending the school since I was in kindergarten. Since ASU Prep is a K-12 school, I came here with the intention to graduate both kindergarten and high school from ASU Prep. I find it useless to make me switch from the school I've known my whole life come August 2026, the start of my junior year. I've built a community here. I've known some of the teachers here for 5+ years. I have adults I thoroughly trust at the school, and I don't want to lose that. On top of that, I lose so many friends if we lost ASU Prep. We all would get separated after going to the same school as each other for years. This school building is my childhood. It's my everyday life. It's packed with memories, elementary to now. I guarantee you I can go around any part of the building and tell you a story about that exact spot. So many classrooms I have fond memories in. I don't want that to all go away because you want to turn my school building into something else. More on that, the location and structure of ASU Prep is so convenient to me and my family. It's 5 minutes away from my home, and since it's a K-12 school, only one drop off for both me and my little brother. The opportunities I get at ASU Prep are unlike any other. The opportunity to take college classes as a freshman has been so special. On top of that, the right to go to ASU Prep, the ISU downtown campus to see my firsthand what college is like is an amazing thing. ASU Prep is so important to me, my peers and my teachers, my family and my education. Please do not make ASU Prep downtown move buildings. Thank you. Rosie B. This next comment is from Ziana McCoy Williams. I love ASU Prep because all my nice teachers, they make me feel welcome and belonging. I also love ASU Prep because of the friends I have made. From Ziana. Our next comment is from Athena Keblin. I appreciate ASU Prep because of the sense of family and community it gives me. While I haven't been here for too long, I can see the relationships form between students, teachers, and staff. Many people have come to the same spot for years, and to some, it may as well be considered a second home. If I do move away, I like to leave with the knowledge that this community will continue to stay strong in the place that they're most familiar with. It's what I love about this school, and I believe others appreciate it too. This is from Athena C. Our next comment is from Lero Beltran. Hello, I genuinely appreciate ASU Prep because of the amount of opportunities it presents to all of its students. ASU Prep offers me, a high schooler, the chance to take a plethora of college courses that will advance my career prospects and assist me as I traverse through my academic journey. Not only that, but being able to attend ASU Prep at the current downtown Phoenix campus is extremely convenient for my family and I, as my parents and family in general are extremely busy people, and the location of ASU Prep at the moment is, again, immensely convenient. These are just two of the numerous reasons regarding why I love ASU Prep in its current location. From Lero B. Our next comment is from Daisy Hernandez. I love ASU Prep because it feels like a home. I have made connections with friends and staff. I love the teachers because they are so cool. I love all the classes in the school. From Daisy H. Our next comment is from Samantha Silverio. I love ASU Prep because the school has truly many opportunities for future life and has given me many new life experiences. For example, when I first got enrolled in this school, I did not know what I wanted to be when I grew up. But now I've learned new things, college experience, and many more educational programs. This has helped me become who I want to be in the future, thanks to ASU Prep. Our next comment is from Lucius Marquez. I love ASU Prep because it's a fantastic school for learning and making memories with friends. Here, it's a truly wonderful school where you can make friends all over the state. Our next comment is from Luca Brown. I love ASU Preparatory Academy because of how inclusive the school is. I enjoy going to a school where you won't be judged from where you come from or your background. I also enjoy having teachers that are passionate about their job. The first day I came into ASU Prep, after I transferred from Cleveland, I was on edge about how the school was, but less than 2 hours in, I already had a group of people coming up to me and introduce me to the school. I think that sums up what kind of school ASU Preparatory Academy is. Our next comment is from Omar Santos. I love ASU Prep because as an immigrant student who came to this country looking for a better life for my academic future, this school gave me the opportunity to be successful. They helped me learn English, and this location especially gave me the opportunity to start an in-person college classes on the downtown campus. Thanks to the school, I was able to be a college student while I was still in high school. Our next comment is from Ty Williams. I like the teachers here at ASU Prep downtown, so please don't get rid of it. Our next comment is from Gracia Aaronborough. I love ASU Prep because I am able to choose what I learn and find a degree that fits me. ASU Prep is where I met all my friends and a place that holds so many memories for me. Our next comment is from Michael Phillips. I love ASU Prep because of all that it has to offer compared to other high schools in the area. One of the biggest examples of the neat things that ASU Prep has to offer are the Universal Learner courses, giving high school students like me and many others a chance to experience a college course and take them to boost our future in education. Our next comment is from Ariam Garcia. I love ASU Prep because it has helped me so much with improving my academic skills. This school helps you grow, learn, and be successful. It gives you many more opportunities with college courses and the amount of support teachers and counselors give us. Our next comment is from Adriana Resendez. I really love this school. This school has helped me so much. If the school shuts down, so many people will be impacted and will struggle to find other schools to go to. Our next comment is from Mariah Hernandez. I would like ASU to remain open. For the reason being, I have been here since freshman year, now a junior, and I have accomplished so much in just 3 school years. I would like my younger siblings to have the opportunities I have had. For instance, being able to have a pathway to the future they want. This school has many opportunities. I don't think anyone should not get a chance at the chances of a great future. Our next comment is from Maya Duncan. While I wasn't there for the protest since I'm a freshman, the school means everything to me. I've been here since kindergarten and have made so many friends and have been offered so many opportunities that I'm not sure I'd be able to have at another school. I'm here with the intention to graduate kindergarten and high school in one location, not finish K through 10 here and 11 to 12 at another school. Please hear our voices and recognize that this decision is unfair to everyone at the school. Our next comment is from Jacqueline Zamora. ASU Prep is home to many students who live downtown. Changing the location would affect many lives. ASU Prep being downtown is perfect because the college campus is a few streets away. It allows more students to prepare for college. Our next comment is from Joelle Padron. I would like to keep the school open because although I won't be here, I still want the kids to learn, and I have friends who have siblings that go here and want to stay here, and it's close to a lot of my friends' homes. That is why I want the school to stay open. Our next comment is from Yamalex Coronel. Please don't shut down our location. We love the downtown area, and Mr. Tellerico is the best teacher there. Our next comment is from Lamoni Jacobs. Hello, my name is Lamoni Jacobs, and I think you should give the elementary and middle school kids an opportunity to be here at ASU Prep. And I think that this is a really good school because there's after-school programs for kids, and we sometimes do really cool events. Our next comment is from Israel Jones. I love ASU Prep because they give me so many opportunities that other schools wouldn't, and I've grown really fond of these classrooms and everybody here and made good memories and friends. Our next comment is from Aileen Martin. My name is Aileen Lovey Martin. I'm a student at ASU Prep downtown Phoenix. I've been at ASU Prep since freshman year, and overall, I've had an amazing time and given opportunities for college given by amazing counselors. I made a lot of memories here, and I would hate for this school to cancel and end. For this location, the biggest ASU campus to be shut down would mean we'd have to travel far from our house to go to school. This ASU downtown campus is very huge and is a good distance and saves a lot of people gas. We have after-school programs for littles that would definitely help the parents out when they need their child to be taken care of for a little while and give them a chance to learn and interact. We love it here, and the community is very welcoming. I would hate to have to leave. It's kind of like second home to me. I would miss it. Please take this and take time to think about it. Our next comment is from Israel Jones. I love ASU because they give me so many opportunities that other schools wouldn't, and I've grown really fond of these classrooms and everybody here and made good memories and friends. Our next comment is from Elizabeth Maldonado. If you're reading this, please don't close down our location. We love coming here, and most of us have to drive here, but it's far, and my parents can't afford to pay for more gas to go farther past this location. Plus, there are amazing places around here to hang out and where you can go after school. We would love to stay here because if we wanted to go to college, we could just walk to one close by. This location is the best because most of us can go to the library after school. After all, we know the area. If we move to another location, we won't know the area because we haven't been there. So please don't move our location. Most kids here would have to move to another school close to them, and that choice is not up to them. Thank you for listening. Our next comment is from Aquila Gonzalez Rivas. I love ASU Prep because I have attended this school my whole life. Now as a senior, it makes me sad to think this will be my last year, and people wouldn't have the opportunity to attend this school and create amazing memories in the future. Our next comment is from Logan Deitman. I love ASU Prep because I spent my 4 years of high school here, and I really enjoyed the school. I also met some amazing people here and built strong connections with them. Our next comment is from Xavier Ichigari. ASU Prep Downtown Phoenix means a lot to me because it provides a unique and enriching educational experience. The school fosters a strong sense of community and offers opportunities that help students grow academically and personally. Shutting it down would take away a valuable resource that has positively impacted many lives, including mine. Our next comment is from Sabrina Cook. Dear School Board, I want to email you about the urgent letter sent out to my school, ASU Preparatory Academy Phoenix, that was sent out on January 8th. I was hit with shock and a big sadness about the lease being terminated in June 2026. I love ASU Preparatory Academy Phoenix because I'm the few that have been here since kindergarten. This has felt like a home for me for many years, seeing how the school evolves into an exceptional academic school for learning. Though the school is a little farther away from where I live, my parents chose the school because of the academic opportunities they had to offer. Many people who I've become friends with during my time here also live in a farther area, not near the school, and their parents all have the same reasoning as to why they chose the school. I know that if you do decide to terminate our lease during this time, many families would be distraught at the sight of such an amazing school coming to an end. Next comment is from Luis Maratea. ASU Prep means a lot to me. It is a place where I would like to go to learn here. I like the fact I can hang out with my friends. I like the location. It feels like a second home to me. Our next comment is from Christian Walker. ASU Prep means a lot to me because of the opportunity given to me at the school's location, to be able to walk with the downtown campus of ASU and take college courses in a college setting. Our next comment is from Stephanie Ramirez Hernandez. Dear School Board, I want to write this email to let you guys know that this school means a lot to me because I have came here for over 10 years. It is a safe community and everybody is connected. As well as the school is still having little ones who might struggle finding other schools around their area. Most families that are still here have been loyal to ASU for many years. Overall, I would like you guys to consider keeping the school. Our next comment is from Ariana Figuerio. What does ASU Prep mean to me? ASU Prep is like a second home to me. I've been going to this school for almost 12 years now, since kindergarten. This community in ASU Prep is very strong from kindergartners to seniors in high school. Our next comment is from Benjamin Serrano. Hello, my name is Benjamin Serrano, and I'm currently a senior at ASU Prep Downtown. I would like to take the opportunity to reflect on how my experiences at this institution have profoundly influenced my personal development. Throughout my high school journey, I have been fortunate to connect with remarkable individuals, teachers, peers, and friends who have contributed significantly to my growth. These relationships have created a sense of community that I deeply cherish, and I regard these individuals as an extended family. I am grateful for the support I have refused during my time here, and hope that I have also been able to provide meaningful assistance to others, fostering mutual growth and benefit. Hi, this is from Trinity Chavez. Hi, my name is Trinity Chavez, and I am a student here at ASU Preparatory. I would like to say that I enjoyed being here at ASU. This school has a lot of different types of meaning to me, especially with the fact that I am reassured of having college experience for me and providing college courses as well. Not only does learning affect me in a good way, but when I come to the school, I am able to see little kids and enjoy the feeling of seeing how happy they are. Overall, this school is very meaningful to me. Our next comment is from Tara Kerwin. Thanks to the members of the school board for standing up for the students of PESD. It is disheartening to hear that ASU Prep is being disingenuous in their argument to continue their current lease agreement. This is not a villainous campaign to shut them down, rather to keep them from continuing to deprive our students of roughly $400 each per school year. What is villainous is persisting that our kids should accept less when it's the adults of ASU Prep that need to do more. Thank you. Our next comment is from Monica Keys. Hello, I would like the following to be a public statement at tonight's meeting. Dear Phoenix #1 board members, as a district parent and volunteer, I support the decision to not renew the lease on the district property located at 735 East Fillmore Street. I would like to acknowledge the time and consideration that was invested in this decision, not only this year, but in the years prior. Your prioritization of the district's families and community is commendable and reflects the board's commitment to strongly support their neighborhood, schools, and the district, both now and in the future. My family and I fully support the board's decision to seek a rental arrangement that reflects this property's full value, or at least more than a fraction of it per the current lease agreement, and therefore provides some benefit to our district's community rather than heavily subsidizing a charter school. ASU Prep's parent organization, ASU, clearly states in one of their 9 design aspirations as a new American university that it's their institutional objective to be socially embedded, which is defined by ASU as connecting with communities through mutually beneficial partnerships. Being the recipient of a substantially subsidized lease at the expense of a struggling district, which is about to close 2 schools, it is not an example of social embeddedness, nor does it appear to be in an alignment with the university's charter. Therefore, I would argue that ASU leadership would also be in agreement with this decision by the district #1 board, if they have not already expressed so. ASU Prep is a robust multi-location program which will surely be able to pivot and provide their community with other options that are well within their $16.7 million budget. As we all know, our district is also learning how to adjust to the proposed closure of the Dunbar and Hurd schools, which our community will also find a way through. We all must recognize the realities of many changes impacting the downtown Phoenix area and adapt accordingly for the sake of our students' future. Thank you again for your continued service to the district and the community and for making decisions that support its future well-being. Respectfully, Monica Keys. Our next comment is from Kim Barnes. Dear School Board, I am writing in support of your decision to not renew the lease for ASU Prep. It is the board's responsibility to protect the financial well-being of its schools, and we cannot continue to subsidize a non-district charter school that is unwilling to pay fair market value for the rental space, despite having the funds to do so. Thank you for putting your district and its members first. Kim Barnes. Our last public comment is from Jennifer Flores. Good afternoon. I want to express my support for Phoenix Elementary School District to not renew the lease with ASU Prep Academy. To renew the lease, sell this property below market value and for less than what it costs us to operate this building would be a gift of public funds and would not benefit Phoenix Elementary School District students and staff. In fact, it would be to the disadvantage of the interests of PESD. Any efforts by local politicians to coerce the PESD to make such decisions against the best interests of students, staff, and the overall community are unethical. I want to express my support of PESD and the difficult decision to close 2 schools to protect the district's future and to protect students and staff. The school that my children attend offers an amazing curriculum by beloved educators that is preparing them well for high school. We've observed firsthand the challenges the district faces with bus driver shortages and the loss of the beloved before and after school program known as PEER. I'm hoping that with the closures that some staff can be reassigned to fill vacancies. Respectfully, Jennifer Flores. And this concludes our electronic community comments.
Thank you. Move on to in-person comments. And I would like to invite Ms. Cynthia Sapin Benita. You have to press the button. There you go.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, good evening, Madam President, governing board members, Superintendent Gonzalez, leadership team, and community. I am Cynthia Zapin Pineda, a current teacher at May Bartlett Hurd Elementary. I have served under 7 superintendents. Some of them had some great ideas and some of them not so great. The superintendent's plan is not an ideal one. There should be an alternative plan, Plan C. I do not think this board wants to be remembered for the closing of 2 schools, Dunbar and May Bartlett Hurd, which are some of the oldest and most respected schools in the district. Hurd is a neighborhood school. One of my former students just the other day commented to me he wanted to enroll his children at Hurd, but he said that he heard that Hurd might be closing. So he said, I'm gonna have to go elsewhere. meaning probably another district to enroll them. The teachers and staff are dedicated and give so much support to the students as well as the current programs that they have. We will lose students to neighboring districts if they close the school. Some history. Mrs. May Bartlett Hurd was a co-founder of the famous Hurd Museum on Central Avenue. Some of you may not know that. She was instrumental in the development of the city of Phoenix. She donated the land that Hurd was built on. They honored her by naming the school after her because of her love of reading and community involvement. She would jump on her horse to deliver library books to far-off ranch children. Education was important to her. I hope you will consider to keep these two schools open, especially Hurd. And also, Hurd was updated after 1970, so I don't know where you're getting your figures from or anything, but it was remodeled. First, it was originally built for a K-8 school, then it became a K-6 school, and then it went back to K-8. So there has been some remodeling there, so maybe some of you don't know that. So thank you for your time, and be heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Betsy Fowler.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Betsy Fowler, and I'm the head of schools of ASU Prep Academy. As you know, ASU Prep community has been taken aback by the sudden notice of your intention not to renew ASU Prep's lease at the Fillmore building. At the same time, we understand that the district faces tough decisions in the face of declining enrollment and budget limitations while working in the best interest of your students and families. Ensuring every voice is heard is a valued part of the process, and we applaud your efforts to hold public input sessions about the potential school closures at Dunbar and Hurd. As you have heard from ASU Prep staff, community members, and especially our students, we would have welcomed a similar input process and ongoing discussion about the lease of the ASU Prep building at 7th Street and Fillmore. Ending that lease would, in effect, mean displacing another school, an outcome that would have profound impact on students, families, and the broader community. At the same time, a revised lease agreement could provide much needed financial resources. I urge you to keep the lines of communication open with ASU Prep and explore solutions that serve the district's needs while ensuring continued educational opportunities for all students. Thank you.
That concludes our community communications, and we are moving on to approval of consent agenda. I motion that we approve consent agenda.
This is Carmen Trujillo. I'll second the motion.
Full count for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Ms. Erica De La Rosa,
Aye.
Ms. Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Ms. Erica Ovalle,
She's not online. With that, the motion carries, and we're moving on to action items F1. This is the request approval of policy GBEF, which is our digital communications and electronic devices as a second read. Do we have any questions? We had our first read a couple weeks ago where we were explained that the current policy is a little outdated because it still had like, what's it called, MySpace. So now we're updating it to include the newer ones, not TikTok, but the newer ones. Do we have any questions? Hearing none, I motion that we approve policy GBEF, digital communications and electronic devices.
This is Carmen Trujillo. I'll second the motion.
full count for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Ms. Erica De La Rosa,
Aye.
Ms. Carmen Trujillo,
Aye.
Thank you. With that, the motion passes, and we're moving on to closing items. Do we have any board member requests? Hearing none, we're moving on to any future agenda items. Thank you. Moving on to adjournment. I motion that we adjourn this meeting at 6:50 PM.
This is Carmen Trillo, second.
Thank you.
Vote count for Ms. Jessica Bueno,
Aye.
Ms. Erica De La Rosa,
Aye.
Ms. Carmen Trujillo.
Aye.
Thank you. With that, we adjourn our February 18th meeting. The governing board's next meeting is scheduled for March 4th, 2025 at 5:15 at our